So I have something I've been meaning to do for a while, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. But first, this is not the right clip. So where is it? That's what I need. This is the one that I actually needed. So now I'm ready.
And that is
so I didn't know if I was going to make it here in time, which it was a little bit just had to like zone out. I'm listening to a training passively as I'm driving, and right now I have like minutes to get into the store and to get what I ordered, because I do not want whether the counter to shut down or whatever. So I wasn't booking it, but I timed it right. So I didn't have to, well, I don't want to lie, because I'm like, was I booking it? Yeah, I was booking it a little bit, but I timed it right. So it was 40 minutes, 41 to 52 minutes to get here, and that was drastically cut simply waiting, but that also pushes me up to getting in the store, which, if you know, you know. I always still think about getting one of those, but I don't know. I need to pick up a order.
Online order pickup?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. We have secured the package, but can't even see it. There we go. Overexposed much. It's a weird way to package it. We have secured the package. Got him. Something that always remains true for me is I still have a thing with vlogging or even taking my gear. I don't mind taking it with me into a store. Gosh. But it's something about don't take your stuff in the store that you know is like other stuff in the store. So if you have a tablet, you don't want to go in there necessarily with the electronics, or if you like something like that. So it's like I don't want to take my camera, even though clearly I have footage from before me being there and all that stuff to prove it. It still would be weird. Can you guess what this is? The mystery white package, the white chocolate package. We got another ZV-E10. So why another ZV-E10? Because I actually have been delaying it. I actually got the battery in here, which is unusual. Not gonna lie, my original one, the old girl has seen better days, but this one is in much better condition than my other one was that I had since day one. But we are getting ready to release some amazing goodness. No screen protector, which thankfully I have an extra one at home. But to check this on, because I'm not gonna go up. See, here's why. Here's why I do what I do. Turned it on. See, it's on. Battery in. No juice. But I grabbed earlier, a charged battery. So that way I can test it, even though this one's not, that's fine. I have plenty of FW50 batteries. But that way I can test it, make sure the camera's good. I have a lens, so I can test the lens. And I can do you one better. In my handy dandy wallet, I always carry one of these. And what this is an SD card or memory card holder. So I can always have an SD card with me, and it holds up to 4. And so I always at least have one in here. But this is always in my wallet, and I cannot tell you the amount of times it has saved me from needing just that little bit more extra footage and needing to make sure that if I'm in a situation like today, like even if you were buying something used from like Facebook Marketplace, Gear Focus, MPB, whatever, or especially like Facebook Marketplace, I don't know if Craigslist is still a thing, you can always test your cameras and make sure, because I definitely don't want to come back out here and be able to test it and all that jazz, but wouldn't be able to test it. So whatever the max speeds that the camera can do, I bring that kind of SD card to test it completely. But this only has 11%. I thought I charged this all the way up. So this camera really, really, really could benefit from having something this camera has. Do you see that? That is a full-on DNA print. This for real got to get clean. Like, who does this? It's disgusting. Cool thing is I love these Sony chargers that you have. And so because I have this, has a strap, looks like whoever just kind of got rid of the bag, which is fine. But what's interesting is like these power bricks by Sony are so good, but it doesn't take me any time to go through the camera. I really wish we could save profiles like we can on this one, and already it's like, so I'm opening up the side door here. I can put my SD card in there and it's like, oh, just the power cable. So now I have to remember it is at the base again, which I have not been used to. The size, like these are so compatible, this brother-sister relationship between the ZV-E10 and the ZV-E1. Like I said, I like this, and it might just be me being biased, but I like this so much more than the A6700, because APS-C, the whole point of even mirrorless is that it was light. This is light. This is light. The A6700 weighed as much as the ZV-E1. It's not a bad trade-off. It's a fantastic camera. There's almost nothing wrong with it. I'm looking forward to the ZV-E10 Mark II. And I absolutely love that all cameras can charge via USB-C. Man, this feels so good to be with such a small, like the ZV-E1 is small, but this is, what if this was the ZV-E1 with like it just, because you can still fit a full frame sensor in there, but there's no room for IBIS and probably none of the other stuff in there. But I mean, they're really a good A-B combo, and I honestly love the ZV-E10 more than I love the A6700, surprisingly. Surprised me too. Fear not, Storm. I still love you. You're still number one. So I've noticed something about myself recently, that I'm in a constant state of progress and improvement towards something that I uncovered about myself, because I journal a lot and I finish these books, and I like them small in batches like this, or even better, what I've recently tried, which was a gift, which is these smaller, much wider than your traditional ones like this, because this lets me draw out my thoughts, write my thoughts. I just script certain video ideas, which I tried not to do there. I try to put it in a compatible format where I can move it. What I'll notice is, if I notice something that I'm doing over and over again, it's being done enough to where it needs to be transitioned into a system. And especially if I'm doing it multiple times per week. Just the fact that it's recurring is enough to make that change. And so for me, the camera was part of that. But I also noticed something that came up while I was trying to work with my iPhone. And it doesn't matter how modern the phone is, how good it is with, the stuff you see online. The translation from the knowledge of a super skilled person in a certain lane, so if they only create with iPhones, or if they do it a lot, your skill level increases. Just like I've only primarily used, really, my cameras for these last several years. So it's so much easier for me to go from idea and like thinking how I want it to look, knowing exactly what to change. I don't have to press and hold and, oh, let me turn off do not disturb. And there's so many distractions with a phone that make it not work for me. In addition to the sensor, it's like you have to blast yourself with light versus like now I'm like in a super, well, I won't say super, but I'm definitely in a lower lit situation. For me, this is too dark. I prefer to be in like a completely well lit environment because I've done this before and I hate it because as soon as I'm done recording, I turn all the lights on so I can see what the heck I'm doing, especially when I want to journal. And so I bring that up because if you notice that you're doing something over and over again, it's time to evaluate, like, how do we stop this looping? I'll try to close loops every day with my journal. And something that stuck out to me as well, I was not feeling happy and I was not feeling comfortable with what I was doing. So I constantly pulled back on a lot of things I was doing. Pulled back on doing a podcast, pulled back on doing blog posts, pulled back on the live stream, pulled back on my channel, pulled back on everything. And so now I'm in a place to where I'm feeling happy and happier. And so I'm falling back in love with what I'm doing because I'm able to honestly not have so many things on my plate, even though I still have a lot of things on my plate. I noticed something that I still don't like that I'm constantly working on, and that is my discipline. In that time, switching from not uploading a lot to now getting back to where I was at like peak creativity, is understanding that like my discipline was so strong and it was like at its peak as well. And now I have to evaluate that because what I feel has nothing to do with me doing something, but it started to because I'm like, I don't feel like it right now. I don't feel like this. I don't feel like that. Versus my discipline kicking in and saying, no, we're going to do this because X. And so even though I may not feel like something, my discipline would always carry me into getting the thing done. Especially now I'm feeling better. I still have down days or days where it's kind of rough. Like last couple days have been a little rough physically and just like pain wise. And so it's constantly managing that. Completely changing my food, like I said, some paleo, some keto, and just like a mix of that has done me very well in like really clean eating. But I still will have to deal with stuff. That's when discipline is essential for me, because then I'm like, even though I don't feel like it, and there's a limit to where I say, okay, it's not just a feeling, this is now where I'm like a health concern for myself and I need to take myself into consideration. And so what I'll do is I have a limit and I have a line. Now I'm having to redraw that line, reevaluate, regrow, rechange things to where I'm like, where is it where my discipline now needs to take over from my feelings, and where is it where wisdom makes sense to say you probably need to pause and take a break, or take, you know, a couple hours off, go for a walk, whatever, like get off away from the desk and stuff. The camera helps with the efficiencies and things, not just from a creativity style, but the more systematized things are, the faster I can execute. Also, when it comes to me evaluating how many times my discipline kicked in over my feelings, which has been a lot, like it's been like really high just in like measuring certain things. I was really disappointed when I did my own self-survey, asking and going through things. I was disappointed in myself. In order for me to change that, I had to say, okay, what is the thing that makes sense? What is the one thing that I can change? What's the one thing that I can implement that will make this task and the things that I have that's coming up easier to execute? I am not thinking of my feelings. I'm turning on my discipline, which is a constant daily thing, which is interesting because when you go from like working to like working for yourself, your discipline still may be high and you're constantly and you're like amped to egg it on. But it's like once you get tired and you get drained and you get depressed and you get frustrated and you have things happen or whatever. I say in all my podcasts, life happens to us all, but it's how you set your sails. What happens when your sails rip? What happens when you got to take them sails all the way down and put something else up? Now I'm like, okay, I'm rebuilding that muscle of discipline. Today is kind of one of those things, like it's kind of late, not kind of late, it is very late right now, but discipline dictates that I do what was on my to-do list and that my poor planning not impact anybody else's schedule, anybody else's time frames and stuff, and that I do what is required versus doing what I feel. So those are the kind of things that I get to experience being a full-time entrepreneur, content creator, running my business, having where you have people that are reliant on you having a vision, vision casting, moving things forward, moving the needle, and you being responsible for any of the negatives that happen and you giving away the wins anytime something good happens. Today's lesson, discipline. Tomorrow's lesson, discipline. The next day's lesson, discipline. So in my time that I've been off, that's one of the things that rings true that's been like really loud for me. It's like constantly increasing my discipline. But I don't really like dark setups or whatever. Like I could relight it, but I don't like dark setups because I don't like sitting in the dark. And as soon as I turn this off, I'm turning the lights back on. I just wanted to see what it might look like. But yeah, I don't like dark lit things anymore. For me personally, I'm for light, bright, airy, free. You can breathe. But I do kind of want to fix some things around here with the lighting, but definitely not dark. That was what I'm leaving for the vlog because I got some stuff to record and some things like that. So